Are delighted that you've joined us this evening. So my name is Emma Root and I'm joined by my colleague Helen Hill to present this evening's session on the importance of physical activity in breast cancer. Helen and I are GPs working within Derbyshire, and this webinar is part of our Hub Plus Fellowship to support people on their breast cancer journey. I'd also like to thank Susie Bailey and Jess Doyle from the Hub Plus, who are hosting this evening and will be supporting us to run the show. So a couple of practical things before I hand over to Helen. Firstly, if you have not already filled in the questionnaire in the email, please could you do that now by following the link in the chat or the QR code on the screen. It's really quick and it will help us to understand how impactful this session is. Another thing, we will be recording this webinar and it will be available for everyone to watch back on the Hub Plus website. So if you do not want to be recorded, please turn your camera off. And if you have any questions at all during the webinar, please put them in the chat. But as we have a pretty packed hour or so together, we will send out some responses after the webinar by email. Over to you, Helen.
Thanks, Emma. So over the next hour or so, you'll hear from some amazing speakers, experts in their fields, whether they are clinicians, patients, or physical activity experts. We want each of you to leave feeling you know more about the reasons why physical activity is so important, and with some resources to help you become more active and or advise patients, friends, or loved ones to be more active. Firstly, I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Liz O'Riordan. Liz was working as a consultant breast surgeon when she was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015 and underwent surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and hormone treatments. Unfortunately, due to recurrences, Liz was forced to retire from a job she loved at the age of 45. However, she has been able to use her experiences, both as a doctor and as a patient, to improve the quality of cancer care by talking to healthcare professionals and patients. Liz discovered exercise helped her during treatment and even completed a triathlon during her chemotherapy. Liz is now an ambassador for Working with Cancer, has a podcast called So Now I've Got Breast Cancer, and is the author of 2 fantastic books, Under the Knife and The Complete Guide to Breast Cancer. We are thrilled Liz can join us this evening and share her wealth of experience and knowledge. Thank you, Liz.
Thanks, everybody. So much evidence now to show that exercise should be the first drug that we prescribe for breast cancer. And rather than boring you with a load of PowerPoints that you will never look at, what I'm going to do is in the next week get a list of all the evidence that I can send to you so you've got it to look at on your own time. What I want to do today is just go through some of the really powerful points, the keynotes of the major trials, and what some of the barriers are to getting everybody exercising. Now, you may think I'm some superhero. The triathlon I did during chemo was a very slow sprint pace one. It took me 2 hours. I was stopping every half a length to do breaststroke in the pool. No one told me to exercise, and that was 10 years ago. And I know now a lot of people aren't being told to exercise. Doctors like me don't get training in telling healthy people to exercise, let alone people going through chemotherapy, through surgery, who have other health problems. We're scared. A lot of the advice we give is made up on what we think is safe. And if we don't exercise, we don't get it. We've never had chemotherapy. We can't imagine anyone exercising during chemo. You must be mad. But it is possible. And the world is slowly, slowly changing. And I'm off to Boston next week for the International Society of Exercise Oncology to try and get the message out there. But as I said, exercise should be the first thing we get patients to do. There is so much evidence to show that with prehabilitation, from the day you get your results and you are waiting 2 to 4 weeks to have surgery, regular exercise can reduce the risk of infection. It can get people out of hospital quicker. It can help with their recovery. When women and men are going through chemotherapy, they should continue to exercise. And I've got a list here. There are 7 things that exercising during chemotherapy and radiotherapy can do. It has been scientifically proven to improve fatigue, anxiety, depression, quality of life, physical function, sleep, as well as bone health. Exercising during chemotherapy can have a huge impact on the side effects that people feel. And I swear, just walking for half an hour every day and going to the gym, doing simple bodyweight exercises on my good weeks made a massive difference to how bad I felt. But the huge thing is that regular exercise can reduce the risk of recurrence by 30%. 30. That is huge. We give chemotherapy if there's at least a 5% benefit. So we give 100 women chemo, 5 of them will still be alive in 10 years because of chemo. The other 95 won't. Exercise, a third of them will still be alive. We give tamoxifen to reduce the risk of recurrence, and that benefit. No, it doesn't work with everybody. And I've had chemotherapy and radiotherapy and surgery, and cancer's a sneaky little bugger and it can still come back. So we can't be bad biology. But if you take women as a whole, tamoxifen can reduce your risk of recurrence by 10, 15, 20%. Exercise can reduce it by 30%. And it's free. You just need a pair of trainers. There are no side effects. It's been shown that for people with metastatic breast cancer, exercise is safe as long as it's prescribed by someone who's had the CAN rehab training, who knows what they can and can't do. It is the best thing they can do for the bone health. But nobody is talking about it. In my own trust, there are surgeons who do the park run every week who will not tell patients about 5K your way because they say, my patients are happy with what we offer them. And I know they're not being offered things. And I spend a lot of time trying to get the information out there online. And it's really, really hard because cancer exercise doesn't have a big social media following. It's not out there. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. And when we're not making that buzz, it's really, really, really hard to cut through. And a lot of patients ask, yeah, but why do I need to exercise? How does it actually work? And it's like, despite knowing that exercise is good for our hearts and our bones and our mental health, they want to know at a mitochondrial level exactly how does exercise stop you getting the cancer coming back. We don't know yet. We just have trials that have looked at tens of thousands of patients. And I've just got some of the data here. I'm going to say they found that people who met the guidelines for physical activity, and you're going to hear what they are, had a lower chance of dying from anything and a lower chance of dying from breast cancer. They were less likely to have side effects. They had better fatigue. They had a better quality of life. They were less likely to develop lymphedema. They was less likely to go on to get frozen shoulders because shoulder problems are a huge issue after breast cancer surgery. It should be something that everybody is told to do for the rest of their life, and we're just not doing it. And that's where hubs like this are incredible to try and get this message out there. Exercise is safe. In my dream world, every single person who saw a breast cancer patient on their journey would tell them to exercise. What exercise have you done today? But it's hard because I'm going to put my hand up. I've done no exercise for 2 weeks. I'm in the middle of a tight book deadline, and I am very good at finding ways to say, I don't have the time. I can't go for a run. We all have good and bad days. And a lot of doctors and healthcare professionals aren't exercising regularly. It is hard to find the time to do 3 aerobic sessions a week, especially when they're meant to get your heart rate up and feel sweaty, and to do the resistance training when we've all got other lives going on. You know, there are single mums having chemo, and it's like, I don't have the time to go to the gym, you're joking. And it's how we can find ways to break resistance training down into snacks. So you do your squats when you're on the toilet, or push-ups against the kitchen counter. If you need to take the washing upstairs, can you do it sock by sock? So you're getting your exercise in, and try and find easier ways to help people do this, like the Her Spirit apps, the park runs, that community of feeling you're letting people down if you don't do it. It is so, so, so important. And I really think that what you are doing is fantastic to try and get this evidence out there. There are no downsides to exercising during cancer treatment. It's just healthcare professionals are scared about prescribing it because we don't know what to say. And patients are scared to do it because they think it might hurt them, or they're told it's not safe. And I'm hoping after the end of this, we can all go out and say, right, let's get exercising. What are you going to do? Find something you love, because it's not about all of the benefits that we've seen. For a lot of people, when you are exercising, it's just that mindfulness. When I'm running, I'm just Liz. I forget I've had cancer, and the beauty of being able to get out of that cancer headspace for a while is just amazing. And I can't wait to hear what the fellow patients we've got are going to say about their experiences with exercise. And I'll stop there.
Thank you so much, Dr. O'Riordan. It's wonderful having you here. So our next guest is Ellie McGee, who has both been a nurse and a patient and is an utter inspiration. You'll often find her whizzing around Derbyshire on her bike, or more recently embarking on a triathlon. And she's kindly agreed to share her inspiring story with us this evening.
I was pretty active as a young child, and nearly to the end of secondary school. I enjoyed cycling, swimming in the sea, netball, hockey, tennis, athletics. Now, sprinting was my go-to, long jump. Cross country was anathema to me. Who wants to go down a muddy lane and get tripped over by brambles? Interestingly, at the end of that teenage period, my activity levels dropped off. And by the start of my nursing career, really dramatically dropped. I always kept up in my 20s, 30s, 40s with cycling because that is my true passion. But when I got to my 60s, I found her spirit, or her spirit found me. And what that did was provide me with the opportunity to really reignite my passion for cycling in a big way. It also helped me to learn for the first time proper swimming, so freestyle, and that's astonishing. Things I never ever liked putting my head under water. And just joyfully to be able to take part in adventures, different activities in a group environment, either in real life or the online community. And yes, I could say I was pretty active until I received my breast cancer diagnosis in September 22. Possibly due to being a nurse, I have in my mind this idea that rest is best. When you have an illness, condition, you need to recline at a horizontal angle, have lots of rest. So I had been aware of people undertaking marathons in far on into their journey with cancer, and I thought, how is this possible? How are they able to do this? They must be superhumans. And it didn't feel relevant for me, actually. It didn't. But having discovered, being made aware of the recent research showing that being active before, during, and after breast cancer treatment can significantly improve the chances of the cancer not returning, it appealed to me greatly, and I thought, let's go for it. And I'm generally somebody who takes action and tackles a problem head on. That comes fairly easily to me, probably from my mum, but I'm aware that for other people that may not be so easy. It's helped enormously. I found it really, really helpful to keep up with my daily walk, which has always been important for me, particularly for my mental health. I just have to get out of the building every day. Just occasionally I couldn't do that when the chemo was sadly taking its toll and my body didn't take kindly. But being out in nature certainly gave me a real boost. Then also, while lowering the intensity of activity, I could still take part in the various group activities which Her Spirit particularly provides. So that's exercise classes, cycling group journeys in the real world, or more often online, so virtually in a group, and the concept of having your avatar to represent what you look like, choosing the outfit. And at that time I was having hair loss associated with chemo, and my lovely chums in the group also chose to have a shaven head appearance, which felt really a lovely gesture of solidarity, as well as, it made me feel me again to be doing that kind of activity. Well, I think just knowing that it really is okay to be active on a cancer journey is such an important starting point. So I'm really pleased that this conversation, this increasing awareness is happening. So I'd recommend people find something that they enjoy, and perhaps better with somebody, like a family member or a friend or a group of existing support network. Take it steadily, build up slowly, and as your confidence grows, increase what you're doing. But be kind to yourself, because fatigue is a real issue and can't really fight it. So if it stops you in your tracks, go with it and try again another day. Also, I would say celebrate the achievement of being active, because that represents taking back control, some control, having had events just happen to you. So that's, I would say, it's hard to recommend to people to be positive, but it's okay to celebrate yourself in that respect.
Thank you to Ellie for her contribution. That was fantastic. So now it's time for us all to move. I'd like to welcome Andrea Walker, who's a level 4 cancer instructor who works on both the Live Life Better Derbyshire programme and the Exercise by Referral scheme, which are both funded by Derbyshire County Council. She's going to lead us all in some exercise now, so I'll hand over to you, Andrea. Thank you.
Okay, Helen. Hopefully everyone can see me. Good. And you can do the exercises sitting down. If you don't feel like standing and you've had a hard day, it's absolutely fine. But I'm going to stand, and hopefully some of you are going to stand with me. I'm just going to go through a short mobility exercise, just a very short session, just so you get a taster of what we do and how low level it can actually be. And then obviously we let people just work at their own level throughout the whole of the session, and over the weeks we see the people grow in confidence and in strength and stamina. So we're going to start off with a gentle march on the spot. So we're going to pump the arms, looks like this from the side, lift the knees, feet apart. And in the chair, if it's too much to lift the knees, just tap your toes, get the blood circulating around the body. Let's just get everything moving, because we just feel better. Okay, so now we're going to go into some heel digs. So right to left with the heels. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing with my feet. There we go. And a few toe taps. So this is just mobilizing the ankles, warming up the lower legs, and then to side taps. So just let your arms do what's comfortable for you. And they're pretty good for balance there. Use your arms for balance. Tapping behind. So some little taps back. Looks like this from the side. Just tapping on the toes there. And then we're going to bring it back into a march. So again, just think about your posture. So relaxing your shoulders down, looking straight ahead, drawing your abdominals in and swinging your arms. Just relax the shoulders down. Okay, so we're going to now warm up just the outs and ins. So for the hips, the inner and outer thighs. So we're going to go out, out, in. Exactly the same move in the chair. So keep the knees slightly bent as we go. Pull up nice and tall through your upper body. And we're going to step this wide. So wide march now, lifting the knees. Perfect position for some shallow squats. So we're just going to squat down, come back up, keep the knees nice and soft, just a nice smooth movement. So you're only going as far as you're comfortable. In the chair, knee lifts, right to left if you're seated. So we're just going to go a couple more. And if it's okay and it feels okay, turn the toes out. Now, if this hurts your knees, don't do this, but this is just getting into the inner thighs and the weaker muscles there on the inside, and warms up the groin area as well. So just 2 more for me. And then we're going to hold it at the top. So hands on your hips. If you're on the chair, just hold on to your chair. We're going to bend down one side and then the other. So this is just warming up the waist, those postural muscles, the lower back, the lower tum, and we're going directly to the side, just as far as is comfortable. 1 more each side will do nicely. And we're going to pick up a march. This time we're going to slowly roll the shoulders backwards, just because shoulders like to be worked backwards first. Just your range of movement. And sometimes this area is very delicate after surgery with breast cancer. So, you know, just take your time over the moves. So we can change direction, go forward there. So it's all about your range of movement. If the circles are too much, we just go with a shoulder raise up and down. Brilliant. Back to the march and back to outs and ins again. So we can go a little bit wider, a little bit deeper if you're feeling warmer. Just work at your own pace. We're still in the warm-up phase. This last one, hold the feet out, back into squat. So we get those hips right back, like we're sitting on a chair. And how many times a day do we do this? Quite a lot. So nice and soft on the knees. Don't lock out the joints. Get the weight right back. Keep the weight even between the feet. 1 more. Come to the top. Turn out the toes. We'll go again. And again, if this isn't good for you, then you just stay with the forward squats. If you're in the chair, knee lifts, right to left. Keep your back nice and strong through the movement, or support at the back of the chair. So 2 more. Brilliant. And back to the side bend. So either holding the chair, supporting on your hips, side bends right to left. So always coming back into the center just gives you that realignment before you go off the other way. And of course, just make sure you're not holding your breath through the exercises. Get the oxygen to those working muscles. So we're going to do 1 more and then pick up the march again. So if you are feeling a little bit tender around that area, just a few little shoulder raises up and down. If you can, a few circles forward and a few back. And if you want to make it a little bit bigger now, we can circle round with the elbows, just a few forward and back. And if you're feeling really good in your recovery, you can go nice and big through those shoulders. It's all about how you're feeling and tailoring the move to yourself. So you're not going to keep up with anyone, just yourself. Brilliant. Give the arms a shake. We're going to come just a little bit wider on the feet. We're going to do a few heel toes. Just warms into the ankles before the main workout, just a little bit more. And the same on the other leg, heel and toe. Brilliant. And then we're just going to finish off with some neck rolls. So we're going to drop the chin down. Don't do this if you're dizzy or you've got vertigo, but we're just going to trail the chin round to one shoulder. Lift your head so it's parallel to the floor. Your chin's parallel to the floor. You're looking back as far as you can and then trailing the chin down to chest. This is just nice, just relieves a little bit of tension in your upper back and shoulder area that we sometimes get. And then back to the right side again, or whichever side you started on. Like I said, if you feel dizzy, don't do this movement. And then back into the center. Brilliant. Lift the head. And we'll do a little side stretch over. So we're just going to very gently hold the head. And the opposite hand, if you just push that away, just open up that gap between your ear and your shoulder, but very gently. You're in control of that pressure there. Just slightly turning your head on the diagonal moves the stretch around into your neck a little bit more. And then looking straight ahead. Brilliant. And then changing over. So it may be that just holding that position is enough of a stretch. Then you wouldn't take it any further. If you want a little bit more, flat hand, just pushing down, opens up the gap a little bit further between the shoulder and the ear. Slight turn on the diagonal, moves it down towards the back of the neck there. Just feels really nice. Coming back to the center, brilliant. A little bit of a chest stretch. You probably wouldn't go right into that big open movement, but it might be that you just get your patient just to squeeze the shoulders back a little bit, just to open that airway, just avoid that round posture and keep the airways open. So we're just stretching out the chest very gently. And then obviously progressing onto hands on lower back, and maybe even full stretch by clasping the hands, but starting off just nice and steady. And then the top of the back, we just bring the arms in front, drop the chin forward, and just push, opening the shoulder blades up and the top of the back. Feels really nice. Coming to the center, we can do some stretches, exactly the same in the chair. We can stretch the back of the thigh out for the hamstring muscle. So just leaning over that straight leg there. Feeling a stretch anywhere between your bum and your knee in that big muscle. And if you're seated, calf stretch is easily done by bringing up those toes, and we can do it standing as well. Pushing the heel down, moves below the knee, and the same on the other leg. And these stretches can be done every day if you go for a little walk. Toes up, pushed out. Even if you just sat watching TV, you can do a little bit of stretching or a little bit of exercising in the chair. So we're just going to finish off with the side stretch now, which is quite nice. If you're in the chair, just support with one hand while we reach up and over. If that arm's not going to come over today, we're just going to do a little side stretch here. But if you can go over, this just nice, opens up the rib cage. And then we come back to the center. Same again, if you've got one side and you just want to take it over without the arm reach, is fine. We come back to the center and we're going to just take a couple of deep breaths in. So we bend the knees, breathe in, breathe out, little stretch up, and then shake down the hands. And one more time. Deep breath in, breathe out at the top, shake down your hands, and you can give yourselves some well-earned pats on the back. Well done, everybody that joined me. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Andrea. I love that you can do all of that from your front room or your workspace. It's great. And we'll hear again from you a bit later on. So next up, there are many charities supporting cancer across the UK, and our next speakers are from Move Against Cancer and are going to talk about how they are helping and inspiring patients and their friends and family, and also to give us some tips on how we can have better conversations about exercise with our patients and loved ones. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Lizzie Paddock, psychologist and Move ambassador, and Dr. Deborah Willoughby, who's a 5K Your Way participant. Over to you both.
Thank you very much, Lizzie, and I'm here with Deborah, and we're going to talk you through what Move Charity is all about and a little bit about the 5K Way initiative that sits within Move Charity. So Move Charity was founded by Gemma Hillier-Moses, who was diagnosed with stage 3 Burkitt's lymphoma, a rare form of cancer, at the age of 24. Similar to what Liz mentioned in the first presentation, she was told to rest and was not given any advice beyond what the medical treatment was about exercising with and beyond her cancer diagnosis. During Gemma's experience with cancer, she noticed that there was a lot of lack of knowledge and education provided to both patients and healthcare professionals around the physiological and psychological benefits of being active, both during treatment and also in recovery. And she founded Move Charity in 2016. So Move Charity now has 3 strands of activities. So as mentioned by a couple of people, one of those initiatives is the 5K Away initiative. This is a support group with a difference. We meet on the last Saturday of every month at nearly 100 parkruns now across the UK, which is pretty immense, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a minute. We also have an online cancer rehab programme which provides specialist support to children and young people up to the age of 30. There is a referral form online for both healthcare professionals and also individuals to self-refer. And they provide a virtual online cancer rehab support programme for people living with and beyond cancer treatment, provided by level 4 cancer rehab specialists. And then, as well as that, we've also got the resources, workshops, and also the education that we do around people staying active both during and also after cancer treatment, both with the patients themselves, healthcare professionals, and also other charities and organisations. And our mission is to inspire and support people to move against cancer, because we know movement matters. So a little bit about me and why I got involved. At the age of 26, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. I was about to start my career as a psychologist, and I heard the words that 1 in 2 of us will sadly hear: you have cancer. And obviously at that young age, it was something that I never imagined would or could happen. I then had 3 surgeries and chemotherapy, and yeah, throughout that whole process, Lucy Gossage, who is part of the 5K Away Move initiative, was my oncologist. So I sat in appointments with her and asked her what was possible with trying to stay active during and also after treatment. I was quite naive in thinking that the side effects that were in the Macmillan books were for people maybe a little bit older than myself. And I thought, okay, that's not going to happen to me. I'm young, I'm quite fit. I'm going to be able to bounce straight back from this. And I was, yeah, very surprised with how I had the side effects. So I knew that I had to keep active. I knew what research was out there that Liz has signposted us to today. And I started walking to start off with, and then started running. And that significantly helped me with my fatigue symptoms post-treatment. And I'll pass you over to Debs.
Hi everyone, it's a real pleasure to be here. A little bit about me in 2021. I was 64, a lot older than Lizzie, and I'm thankful for that. I was diagnosed with invasive grade 3 HER2 positive breast cancer, requiring an operation, chemotherapy and radiotherapy, along with later on Herceptin and zoldronic acid. So those blue chairs that you can see in the photograph, I spent hours and hours and hours in them, but thankfully they're very, very comfortable. My treatment finished this April 2024, and I rang the farewell bell 3 times with great enthusiasm. Like Lizzie, on the days I didn't feel like exercising, I remember those that we've lost from our 5K Your Way group, and those who are getting too poorly to run or go to the gym. So I thank my lucky stars and I get going. There's a lot of people there to inspire us. Now, a diagnosis of cancer, in my view, is like a bomb dropping, and the shock waves ripple through all areas of your life and the lives of everyone that cares about you: my husband, my kids, my friends, all of my family. And this is what 5K Your Way, Lizzie came up with, and I think it's fantastic. We call it the stress bottle. And it's a really good way to explore the stressful things that are happening in your life, including changes and losses. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples from me, and you can read the others. Before my diagnosis, I worked internationally, and that's me in Afghanistan, which is where I was posted at the time of my cancer diagnosis. Suddenly, from working all over the world, Sudan, Afghanistan, anywhere, to be honest, where there'd been a war, I was suddenly restricted to not moving further away than a couple of miles from the hospital. That was a huge change in my work and my independence, as the stress bottle says. I was also a very active grandmother. Because I was away quite a lot, I used to take my grandchildren on holiday and really make a fuss of them, had them for the whole of the summer holidays and most of the Christmas holidays. So very active, getting them involved in all sorts of things. And suddenly they became my carers, pushing me around in a wheelchair for about 2 months when my treatment was at its worse in times of side effects, but also it's best in times of getting me through it. And then it says there as well, your body image. I was always quite proud of my long blonde locks, and suddenly I was bald. That affects your body image. I was unable to drive, my lack of independence. So that stress bottle is really, really helpful for people to understand what's going on for them, because we try and pretend it's not. And one of the things we also try and get across to people is if one tiny little drop comes in that bottle, just everyday stress, like dropping a plate or forgetting something, it suddenly erupts, the bottle, the cork flies out and it can hit anyone in its path. I remember once when my poor husband forgot that my apple squash, my dilute, was triple strength, and he made it as if it was normal strength. I sipped it, it was really sweet, and I launched at him. I launched at him like he'd had an affair or he'd shot somebody. It was so totally out of proportion. Luckily, because we'd both talked about this stress bottle, we'd talked about how we were pretty full up with stress and any little thing could make it explode. And because of those conversations, it ended up with Richard giving me a huge hug and me crying uncontrollably, just about the strength of some juice on the surface, but actually because the bottle had overflowed.
So what is 5K Away? So we started in June 2018 at the Forest Recreation Ground in Nottingham. It was an idea that Lucy had shared with me in an oncology appointment. And she said, okay, well, you know people that I'd met that were equally wanting to stay active and knew the benefits of staying active in Nottingham from my treatment. And I said, okay, I can bring them along. You get healthcare professionals down from the hospital. And one sunny Saturday morning in June, we all met at the park run there. We stood there at probably 8 o'clock that morning. I got there exceptionally early, and I remember thinking, would anyone come? Would people want to continue doing this? And I'm certain if you told me 6 years later that we are now organising 5K Away events at 93 park runs across the UK with over 1,000 people joining us who are both maybe living with and beyond cancer, their friends and family and oncology healthcare professionals, I would never have believed you. It is a great opportunity for people to come together to exercise and socialise away from the hospital environment. As it says here, we're a support group with a difference. We run, walk, cheer, volunteer, and yeah, we just either sit and have coffee and cake, and the friendships along the way are the added bonus.
And in relation to the stress bottle, those were the things that are really impacting on us as someone with or living beyond cancer. And these are the benefits of exercise that we've identified. And I just thought it would be good for me to give you a couple of personal examples of those benefits. You can see them in the bottles, but I wanted to share with you my own experience. The community is incredible, not just with our own group. I regularly contact people in other groups across the country who are doing something, raising money for 5K Your Way or doing some new activity. We talk to each other across those almost 100 groups. So it's a real community, and I often think of it more like a family because we can share things. There's peer-to-peer support, and it's just incredible how we're always so pleased to see someone who may not have been there for a couple of weeks because their treatment had got them so low, but they get back and put one foot in front of the other again. And we don't care if they walk half a K, as long as they're there trying to have a go and getting a bit of exercise. There's also a sense of accomplishment. I've done it. The first time I did my 5K, it was an hour and a half, and all the lovely park run people were there still waiting, even though everyone else had finished at about 55 minutes. But the sense of accomplishment, I remember crying with joy, but it's not just the accomplishment for you, the accomplishment for the rest of the family, the 5K Your Way family, is absolutely amazing. When you see someone who's just come from chemotherapy and they're back walking, someone who's just had a major operation and they're there doing their bit and feeling better because of it, it's just incredible. Also, it's something that's not at the hospital. It's a little bit about your cancer, but it takes you away from the medical side. And I've just put, dear diary, I'm not at the hospital today. It's 5K your way. That's my aim at poetry. That's the only poetry I can do. And getting control of my body back and getting more energy. One of the side effects for me was chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy. I felt someone was cutting my feet off. I had to look down sometimes to see if they really were bleeding, because they felt like they were bleeding. It felt like people were putting knives in them. And by doing 5K your way, even the days I couldn't do the whole 5K, that and peripheral neuropathy reduced dramatically. It was just incredible to get that control of your body again, which seemed to be fighting against you for some time. And all my friends and family came. Everyone in that picture is either a member of my family or a friend, and some of them hadn't done any exercise for years, but they all came to join in because people feel hopeless. They don't feel they can help you, and this was a way that they could help. There's even a small group in South Africa that wear all the 5K t-shirts and come out as well. What's this one? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Another thing that's fantastic is you see healthcare professionals outside of the hospital. The lady on the bike is Lucy Gossage that Lizzie's been talking about, and she's doing 5K and running it fast, and she arrives on her pedal cycle as well. So there she is, living what she talks about, which is absolutely fantastic. And finally, it means you're not just a cancer patient, because your life revolves around appointments, and I've got to do this, and I've got to take this, and I've got to inject my stomach, and I've got to do something else. And suddenly you're not. And that's a picture of us with Jessica and Miss Hill, who came to support us when we were on the One show. A one big thank you for Lizzie and Lucy. So that was incredible.
And here's just a little bit about the research that was done with 5K away patients back in 2019 from Sheffield University, looking at what the motivations are for people coming along to 5K away. And as you can see, it was around the quality of life, giving, as Debs has said, the energy levels back, helps with the mental resilience. It also is about the motivations, going to meet people with similar things, being part of a bigger group and feeling like you're not alone in what can feel like a very isolating situation. So yeah, I think it just shows kind of the complexities, and it's more than just the exercise that we're supporting patients with. It's just a map to show kind of the areas that we're currently at. So we've moved to Ireland and Scotland quite recently. And yeah, I'm sure you're not too far from a 5K away location. I know Jessie's going to share a little bit about the Derby one at the end of today's session.
And this is just to look a little bit about the perceptions of illness. When we see something on the television, or when we hear friends and family talking about cancer, very often they say something like, oh, I knew somebody with cancer and they died. Oh, I know somebody who decided not to carry on their treatment and their family lost them. And everyone seems to have a really sad story about cancer. And there are many, many sad stories, and my heart goes out to those people. But what 5K Your Way does is enable us to see the positive side as well. And there's lots of things above the surface that you see with people going through cancer, or people who've just finished treatment. And some of these I know that are happening for me. Good health. I feel that I'm almost back to where I was before. My hair's grown back. I've got more strength. I'm thankful to the NHS for saving my life, and thankful to 5K Your Way for saving my sanity. And I've got far more energy. But still under the surface, people can feel a little bit depressed. I know I had a day recently where I was very tearful, quite anxious. Could it come back? They always say that it could come back. Could it reoccur? There's still some ongoing treatment. It's very small, every 6 months or so, but you're still going back to that hospital. And then you think about your friends at 5K Your Way that you've lost, and you can have some survivor's guilt. So it's really important that we recognise that whatever people are putting on the surface, there's all this going on underneath. And really, exercise helps with all of those. I absolutely believe this. I haven't got any medical background. My doctorate is in management and leadership, not in medical issues. And I believe with all my heart from experience that all of these things under the surface, which people might not want to share, are helped by exercise. Post-traumatic stress syndrome, all of these can be helped by exercise. It's what I believe with all my heart.
And just to finish, I just want to kind of share with kind of any healthcare professionals that are part of this group, or kind of anyone here that has got friends and family going through cancer treatment. We know that there are some things within our control that we can do things about, and then there is beyond that things that we're able to influence. And as you can see, there's things outside of our sphere of influence. So when someone that you love or someone that you're working with has a cancer diagnosis, this is unfortunately outside of our control. We can't do anything else about that diagnosis. We don't need to hide it. We don't need to apologize, but there is some things that we can influence and some things that we can control. Cancer isn't something that we get through or get over. Something has happened outside of our control, and it's now about learning to live with that new reality. So if you are a healthcare professional or a family and friend member, then please have those conversations with people going through treatment around what they want to do and whether any support can come from you around that. What can we do to be able to increase that circle of influence within the centre? Do we need to read more articles around how exercise is beneficial when both going through treatment and beyond it? Is it around kind of signposting to relevant services such as ourselves and kind of coming along with them to 5K away events or other support services? And like Debs has said, this is how we've done cancer, but it doesn't mean that it's right for everyone. And it's our way of kind of sharing kind of how our personal experiences may resonate maybe with others and help them be able to relate to other people. And just to finish, this is our
the grannies. What
I call the grannies at 5K away. They absolutely love it. So I get called the carer.
And that's Lucy's laugh in the background.
and all I'm trying to emphasize there is that it's more than getting out and exercising. It is around kind of the support group. And after leaving this call tonight, we've got dinner with all the grannies that I'll need to go and supervise. So yes. And there's my contact details at 5K away, and all the details are on our website for how to find 5K away locations, but also to find out about how to refer any patients or self-refer to the online programme. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizzie and Debs. That was fantastic, really informative as well, and hearing personal experiences was really useful. So next I'd like to introduce Mel Berry, co-founder of Her Spirit. Mel has boundless energy and enthusiasm and aims to inspire women of all ages to become more active, whilst also undertaking challenges and helping to fundraise for various charities, including Breast Cancer Now. Welcome, Mel.
Thank you, and thanks everybody for your inspirational kind of wise words. And just wanted to, I guess, take a little bit of a step back and think about the journey that Her Spirit's been on within Derbyshire. And I remember it fondly with the wonderful Dr. Susie Bailey, who over breakfast I said, we have a vision to be able to inspire any woman that's on a breast cancer journey. Can we collaborate with you to be able to support Derbyshire women? And she was, yeah, let's do it. So Susie, thank you. The last 2 years have been great. And this is a testament to the work that you and the team with Helen and many of others have done. So congratulations on that. So thank you. Her Spirit, it was founded by myself and my co-founder Holly Woodford 5 years ago, because we believe we wanted to provide a solution for all women and all women to be what we call fitter, stronger and healthier. And for us, that was important to be able to support all women on their mental, physical and nutritional health. And we understood that the only way that we were able to be able to do that was by providing a digital solution. And Ellie obviously talked about her journey. And I think digital is really powerful. We always talk about how digital is an enabler and not the solution. So digital becomes that point where women can build relationships with others, they can trust each other, and ultimately we want them to meet each other. And I think a testament to the work that we've done and through the partnerships with 2 cancer charities, and that's obviously Breast Cancer Now, but also Move Against Cancer. So last year I crazily swam the length of Lake Windermere against a relay team that consisted of obviously one of your colleagues, Louise Minchin, and some of our community members. And I'm proud to say that I did beat them across Lake Windermere, and we raised over £15,000 for Move Against Cancer. So, you know, hopefully that has gone to a very good place. And obviously Lucy is a very key part of a person that, you know, I've got to know over the last probably 10 years. So good, and keep doing the work that you do. So I guess context is why us, and why do we do what we do? We're 2 women that fortunately have never been so far on our own breast cancer journey. We believe that it's important for us to do 2 things: to amplify the importance of activity. So we will talk often about the importance of being active as a prevention to breast cancer. And if you know Breast Cancer Now, their mission by 2050 is for anyone diagnosed with breast cancer to live and live well, obviously, during that time. I think a conversation, Helen, that you had with Holly, the stark statistics that it was 1 in 10 not a long time ago, and it's now 1 in 7. So unfortunately, more women are being diagnosed. And I know from my conversations with the wonderful, you know, Dr. Liz, that if we are to be an active nation, then we could reduce the breast cancer diagnosis by up to 25%. So again, being active and moving is a really important thing. And for us at Her Spirit, we want to provide the solution. So any woman that's listening to this, whether or not you've been on a breast cancer journey or you generally want to be a bit more active, please go to herspirit.co.uk, sign up for free, and you can see everything that we have to offer within, obviously, kind of our solution. We are NHS approved, so if you go to Better Health, you'll be able to see that, you know, we have been rubber stamped by the wonderful NHS to know that our solution is one that is available and accessible for all women. So please come and join us. But I think the one thing that we've all talked about is communities. Communities are so powerful. And if I think back to our first big fundraiser for Breast Cancer Now, it was a challenge called Lakes to London. And we challenged women to cover 500 kilometres over 6 weeks. We swam 5 kilometres of Windermere. We cycled from Windermere to London. And when we finished off by running the London Marathon, bearing in mind that I was kind of 2 years into an osteoarthritic hip at 21 miles when the physio said, do you want to have some Epsom salts bath? And I said, no, I've kind of got a lot longer to go. But we wanted to be able to prove the power of women. We always talk about what makes women the same, and that's about we are far more capable than we think we are. But yes, the context of this is the week before Ellie was diagnosed with breast cancer. So if there ever needed to be a reason and a purpose for us to do what we do, it was a stark reminder of somebody who had become super active within Her Spirit, that had gone on her own breast cancer journey. So I know, Ellie, if you're on, it's been a pleasure to support you. She talked about what we did. We use a online solution called Swift to be able to kind of partner and work with. And we all shaved our avatar heads because it was important for Ellie to feel that she was being kind of supported, you know, on her journey. So look, Her Spirit is for all ages, all abilities, all shapes, all sizes. We collaborate. So whilst we don't offer an all-encompassing breast cancer solution, we work with people like Move to be able to direct, obviously, you into there. But ultimately, one of our key things is an act of kindness every year. So if you haven't already, sign up to Swim for Her. And it's about being able to raise money, this time for Breast Cancer Now. And what we're asking is every woman that signs up is who you're swimming for. And I'll just finish to hopefully kind of bring proceedings back to a semi kind of, you know, on time, is I'm swimming for a woman called Ali Wright. Ali Wright, I knew through the Triathlon Club. And in 2019, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I echo her experience. You know, it was like the devastation that you never thought would come, and unfortunately came. She's still fighting a semi-good fight, and I'm going to talk a lot more over this week about why I'm doing it for Ali, because I'm hugely inspired by women that have been on a breast cancer journey. I remember a couple of decades being humbled by Jane Tomlinson and listening to Jane. And if you don't know Jane, go and check her out. She was an inspirational woman who unfortunately lost her life to cancer. And we keep doing what we do because I think it's important to be able to support women's physical health, but I think it's so important to be able to support women's kind of mental health. And I think they go hand in hand. So please come and join us at Her Spirit. We can't achieve our mission, and our mission is very simple. We want to inspire 1 million women to be fitter, stronger, and healthier. And that's part of our, inspire, 1 million. So please come and be part of that. I want to think a massive thank you to Dr. Liz O'Riordan. Liz does what she does a lot for free. And she is an advocate of obviously exercise. So please come and be part of our journey. Please become a part of our community. We've got some exciting news working with other kind of partners on here. So please help us make a difference to every woman's life, because as Liz says, if you continue to be active on your breast cancer journey, then you can reduce the recurrence of secondary by up to 30%. And do you know what? You'll probably meet some crazy people along that kind of journey. I apologise for those that come on a journey with me. You'll enjoy every minute of it, but there may be times where you wonder what you're doing and why you're doing it. But I guarantee that I will put the biggest smile on your face, and you'll meet people along that journey that you will be best friends for life. So thank you, everybody, for the opportunity to join you and the wonderful Derbyshire. Let's go smash 1 million women being fitter, stronger, and healthier, and change the narrative that healthcare professionals have, as well as everybody that's out there. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mel. And just that sense of community is so powerful. And we'll send some links after the webinar so that you too can get involved with Her Spirit. So for those of you based within Derbyshire, there are also some local initiatives helping our patients, but do you know how to access them or how to refer yourselves or others to get their support? So I'm going to now hand back to Andrea Walker, who's a level 4 cancer instructor, to tell us more about Live Life Better Derbyshire and exercise by referral. Thank you, Andrea.
I work for Live Life Better Derbyshire, and Live Life Better Derbyshire can be self-referral. So it doesn't have to come from anybody but the patient themselves. So if they feel like they need some help with physical activity, stop smoking service, or weight management, they can just self-refer without even seeing a health professional. So they make a phone call into the hub, or you can do it online on the website. And I can give you all the details of this at the end if anybody wants the links for the referral process. So I will talk about Live Life Better first. So we support patients for a whole 52 weeks. So when they come into our service, they're supported for a whole year. And the amount of support that person gets is entirely up to that person. So if they want a phone call every single week, we may phone call them every week. They may want to attend some of our face-to-face exercise sessions, our low levels exercise sessions that I've just given you a taster of. So we do those around Derbyshire. We're a team of 12. So we are spread quite wide. So we have face-to-face, we have online pre-recorded. We also have online face-to-face. So we have spread ourselves quite thinly over Derbyshire. And some people choose to do both if they want. So if they like the face-to-face and they want more, they can go to another face-to-face. They can have as much exercise as they want with us, or as little. If that's not for them, then we have other signposting apps. We might signpost to mental health stuff around relaxation and mindfulness. Sometimes that helps in people's journeys. It will all depend on the goals that the patients want to achieve. Of course, it's going to build strength and stamina along the way. If they do come onto our program, that's what we're looking to do, help people on their specific journey. It isn't just for people with cancer. We do deal in lots of different health conditions. We also refer on to walking groups and things in the community, like walking football is really popular around Chesterfield with ladies that have been netballers in days gone by. They want to get back into it when they've retired and they don't have to run around, they can just walk. So that's brilliant. When we have supported through Live Life Better for 9 weeks, we can then offer them something a little bit more in what we call a leisure offer voucher. So we work with all the local authority leisure centres within Derbyshire, and they all have different offers. So their offer, for instance, in Chesterfield, which is my area, is probably the best offer that you get anywhere in Derbyshire, and they love the offer because it's 3 months free, unlimited gym and swims for a whole 3 months. Some of the other authorities, a little bit similar. It might be for a month, it might be for 8 weeks, it might be 1 or 2 sessions a week. But Chesterfield are quite generous that they give 3 months, so that's really good. Going on to exercise by referral, it is a little bit different in that it does require a referral from a health professional, and that will be the link that I can put onto the chat or email you after, anybody that might want that to refer in. So the patient obviously has to go along to their GP practice or health professional and get the form signed off. It's an electronic form. It just gets pinged over to what we call the hub, which is part of Live Life Better Derbyshire. So they all come into the hub and then they're put out to the relevant leisure centres where the patients want to attend. Attending exercise by referral at your local gym or leisure centre gives the patient 2 free sessions a week for 12 weeks. Although they can access on the back of that, if they wanted to, the leisure offer that we also put out. Unless they live in Chesterfield, they can't have both because they're both 3 months. So they can either access the 3 months unlimited in Chesterfield or the 3 months exercise by referral. But any other area, they can access both because the offer isn't as good in the other areas. So when they come along, so I wear a different hat then when I'm working on exercise by referral at the gym. The patient will be contacted once we have their details, either by a letter or a telephone call appointment. It may be that they have their initial screening over the telephone, where we ask questions about the current health and any other conditions they may have around cancer as well, or maybe conditions that cancer has brought on if they're suffering, with lots of fatigue and neuropathy, like Deb said earlier. So we'd have an initial consultation with the patient. We'd get to know the patient's history, what they've gone through, are they pre-post surgery, are they actually undergoing cancer treatment right now? We'd ask about different medications, if they're still taking any medications, the limitations, and then we would ask what they'd like to achieve. A lot of them just want to get back to some sort of normality after going through cancer, and just get back to being the best they can be. So through exercise by referral, we do offer gym, which would be a one-to-one program with a qualified gym instructor, level 4 trained in cancer. So they could have that program. They may want to take it home. So we could also do home program on the back of the gym program. And we could also offer swim. Chesterfield Borough Council, not a lot of people know this. When I do see cancer patients coming through and I'm talking to cancer patients, they have no idea that actually Chesterfield Borough Council do put on a free swim for cancer once a week on Monday afternoons. And there's no need to book. They don't have to be on the referral programme. They don't have to be on Live Life Better. Just anyone living around Chesterfield, Derbyshire area, if they want to access that swim, they can just turn up and have that swim. There are 25 places on that swim, and we're just seeing sort of single numbers at the minute. It's very low attendance, so people will turn up and they've got the whole pool to themselves sometimes. So that's something that maybe we need to get out there a little bit more because people just don't know about it. So they can have that as an extra onto their 2 free a week if they wanted to swim as well as use the gym. They can also have access to classes. So if they wanted a little bit of yoga or Pilates or anything they fancy like that, they can access a class instead of a gym session if you prefer to do classes. We don't allow to pre-book because obviously they're not paying a full membership. It is a free session. So we say if they turn up to that session, there's a place, they can have it, even though they can't pre-book, but they can have the place if there is one. Also, we just want to build confidence with the people that come to us, with no matter what health condition. Some people we see have never ever been in a gym in their life, and it can be really daunting. So, you know, that initial phone call is a really good icebreaker. And where I can, I know sometimes I've got appointments one after the other, but hopefully I have a few minutes to spare between each one where I can go and greet that patient as they're coming in as well and bring them into the centre, do a little show round, put them at ease. And I think that is everything. So basically the exercise by referral is tailored more one-to-one specific, whereas Live Life Better, we do working groups, we put on our own exercise sessions as you've seen and pre-recorded, we can send them out and they can access, and we do 6 days a week of classes, including Saturday mornings.
Thank you, Andrea. That's really useful. And next, I'd like to welcome Denise Crouch to speak to us about the Active Recovery Programme that's available in Derby. Denise was lead Macmillan cancer nurse at the Royal Derby Hospital and is now the cancer and menopause lead at Derby County Community Trust, who run the Active Recovery Programme. So thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, everybody. It's been such an inspirational evening, and the lessons learnt. I'm really pleased to hear that Derbyshire's now got their cancer activity programme. It was something when I was working as the STP lead, found really frustrating that we couldn't get any activities out of there. As Helen's said, I used to be the cancer lead specialist at lead nurse at University Hospitals of Derby and Burton, and found that once we started looking at living with and beyond cancer for patients, there was actually nothing out there to support individuals that were going through their cancer journey. And I know we're talking about breast cancer tonight, but the programme that we offer is offered to everyone that's got a cancer diagnosis. So that we offer a 52-week programme. All of our advisors are trained at level 4 and are able to support individuals within their cancer diagnosis. And as we know, it's not just about the physical activity side of it, it's also about the support and the support networks that we have. I think we found that after COVID, everybody wanted to get together, but they didn't particularly want to be in the hospitals. So they've all got their own support groups now and work together. The programme's been running for about 89 years. And and we have approximately 500 people on the programme. Some of them have been on since the start, so that just goes to show that there is life after cancer and people are living with that journey. And some of the people don't want to leave and they've joined different groups. Some of them have started to volunteer for us at Derby County Community Trust. But one of the things that we found from that active recovery programme, so we offer pre-ab, rehab and palliative care. Unfortunately, due to funding restrictions, because initially we were funded by the STP for cancer, we're now having to be funded by our trustees because the funding has been withdrawn from the ICB, which for me is very short-sighted around what's required for people with living with cancer and the needs of physical activity and everything, as Liz had said. But we're fighting that at the moment to try and support individuals. We offer Pilates, yoga, aqua, gym, all the things that has been mentioned previously, that is all offered to individuals. It's a free service for 52 weeks, and they can also come with a buddy, so that they get that support and that initial support that they want to do. But one of the things that we did find is that we found a lot of our ethically diverse communities weren't picking up any of the services that we were offering. So we worked in conjunction with Macmillan, and we now run a Wellbeing for All programme for people out in our community. So we discuss physical activity around cancer and the support that's required. We also raise awareness around screening and the needs for early detection and this sort of thing. So we're offering a wide range of activities for people living with cancer in Derby. I'm just trying to think what the referral processes: consultants, nurse specialists, GPs, social prescribers. We work a lot with. I've trained several local prescribers in Derby to talk about the journey for cancer patients and how they can referral and how they can support people on the journey and where they can signpost them to. So, and they can refer themselves. So easy access for anybody to access our programme. There's posters up in all of the outpatients in to UHDB and at Burton around the programme that we can offer. We do offer workshops around nutrition. We did try a cooking programme once. It was very expensive for the chap to come and talk to us, but we've tried it. And we have been looking at different alternative ways to do that again. Because we run a menopause programme, and one of the things is we did do a cancer workshop menopause programme for our breast cancer patients, and they attended to tell us their challenges and difficulties that they needed, and it was around, you know, we supported them with some physical activity. We're open to trying any details or any different things. That's us at Derby County Community Trust. The website's there. Anybody wants to talk to us about anything, we're happy, we're open. There is trained people to offer the support that's required. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Denise. And I know I've had personal experience of using the Active Recovery Programme after my breast cancer diagnosis 6 years ago. And I was sort of encouraged to attend by my father, who was already on the programme following his prostate cancer diagnosis. And I think I'm right in saying that people can be referred or refer themselves for up to 5 years after their diagnosis. Is that right?
Yes, so, that's right. Yeah, it is.
That's great. Thank you very much. I'll hand back to Emma.
Thank you so much, Denise and Helen. So before we close, we wanted to inform those of you working in general practice that we've made a few amendments to make your lives easier. So making patient reviews include the compelling evidence that we've heard about this evening. So we've made some changes on the cancer care review, which are now live on Derbyshire Pathfinder. So when you offer a cancer care review with a patient, there's now a tick box to prompt you to refer for the exercise programme, which will also add a code to the patient's notes. And then on the links tab, links and info, there is a link to our resource leaflets, which you can give or send in an AccuRx to patients, which signposts to all of the groups and organisations that you've heard from this evening. And also there's a link to the exercise by referral form, which does need to be completed by a healthcare professional, as Andrea said, which is the Live Life Better Derbyshire link. So we hope you find them useful.